So go back to the club.
So go back to the club.
Entitles me? Entitles me? Yes.
Before we get into the video, I just want to quickly plug my latest short film, The Shining Optimism of E.F. Manar. Keep the spark alive. As dreamer and optimist E.F. Manar must find a way to keep his hopes and passions alive in a cynical world. Inspired by Wonka and The Greatest Showman, a lot of time, effort, love, and passion was put into this project, so I would really appreciate it if you guys could give it a watch. The film is linked down below in the description, and it's also on the homepage of my YouTube channel. I hope you guys watch it and really enjoy it. Anyways, back to the video.
Megalopolis? Okay, is it just me or is saying the title of this movie, Megalopolis, like 1,000 times more funny when you say like Pleakley from Lilo and Stitch? I don't know why, the past couple of days ever since I saw it, I just keep referring to it as Megalopolis. Don't know why. Then again, I feel like that pronunciation for this film just feels right. Like, this movie is bizarre and weird, but at the same time too, it's like incredibly compelling. Like, that's what I'll say about Megalopolis, is that overall the film is a mess. It's boring, it's really over the top and really weird. The CGI looks like Spy Kids. The whole feeling of the film just felt like an old man rambling about clouds. In many ways, it reminds me a lot of the later Dune books, or at least the later writing style of the Dune books, or at least the later writing style of Frank Herbert. Like, I haven't finished all the Dune books, I got up to Children of Dune, and even in Children of Dune, you can hear Frank Herbert start waffling and philosophizing, and he's just pontificating and asking you all these questions, and you're just like, what are you saying? Nothing you're saying is succinct in, like, a compelling manner. You're just saying things. That's how I felt watching Megalopolis. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this bit, but I'm finding it really amusing right now. It just feels like Francis Ford Coppola was writing a film about, you know, his ideas and philosophies and his dreams and visions for the future, which might be a metaphor for cinema, I'm not entirely sure. Apparently Adam Driver's character's name is an acronym for Francis Ford Coppola, and I'm just like, okay. What's he saying here? Like, I couldn't even tell you what, like, the overarching, like, story of the film is, because, like, the plot, at the very least, is, like, Adam Driver wants to build Megalopolis, this big city, but also, too, he's invented this material that, like, is essentially the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter. There's this subplot where Shia LaBeouf and Aubrey Plaza want to steal the bank from Jon Voight because he who controls the bank controls the universe or something. And then, like, at the end of the film, like, Adam Driver and Nathalie Emmanuel have a baby. There's an assassination attempt at Adam Driver, but he gets, like, blinded in one eye and he becomes essentially Paul Muad'Dib from Dune Messiah. Like, the imagery there of, like, one-eyed Adam Driver with, like, the, I forgot what it's called, you know, like, the Middle Eastern, like, headband thing, like, he just suddenly has that, and it's like, why are we all of a sudden, like, going all Islamical with this? But then at the end of the film, he and Nathalie Emmanuel have a baby, and the baby can now stop time, because that's the thing too, he can stop time. That's, like, the very first scene of the film, but he doesn't use it. Time, stop! It's not power that he actively uses or can control. He just, like, goes, oh yeah, I can, like, pause time whenever I want to. But it's like, but why? It doesn't factor into the story. Maybe it's a metaphor for something, but at the same time too, I don't know entirely what it's a metaphor for. Like, does he want more time so he can figure out how to make Megalopolis or something? I don't know. And whilst I don't like the story for Megalopolis, I think overall it's a massive mess. As a filmmaker myself, as someone that is a fan of film, a fan of cinema, I couldn't help but find the film incredibly fascinating. I was watching it and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. It's so abstract. This feels like theatre put to screen. And I kind of love it. Like, in the scene that I keep referencing, the back to the club.
So go back to the club.
That whole scene just feels like improv from Nathalie Emmanuel and Adam Driver. And apparently it was. Where, like, all of a sudden they just start doing Meisner, where she's just like, entitles me? Entitles me? Entitles me? I'm like, why is she doing, like, an acting technique for Meisner? I don't know, but, like, I'm, like, absolutely, like, compelled and gobsmacked by it. I'm like, this is so interesting.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Entitles me?
Yes.
Shia LaBeouf's entire character feels like a side character you would see in, like, a Shakespeare play, or like an abstract take on a Shakespeare play, where he's like the grotesque jester type fool that is, like, hungry and seeking power, but also he's like the comedic relief. Like, there are just so many things in this film where I'm like, this is weird. I don't like this, but at the same time too, I do like this, but then at the same time too, it's also like 2 hours and a bit long, and I'm like, this is taking forever. This is so boring. But then at the same time too, I'm like, no, this is great. This is compelling. I want to watch this. I want to see it through to the end. Oh yeah, apparently the shot in the film that references 9/11, they actually shot it during 9/11. Like, this film was in development hell for so long. Francis Ford Coppola was trying to make this film for so long that he just happened to be like there on September the 11th and filmed like the Twin Towers falling down. I just find that baffling. I'm just like, how did he know? Did he know? Did he not know? Did it just happen to be there? What are the chances? This is like incredibly fortunate for him, I guess, as a filmmaker, but also incredibly horrifying. Like, my brain is not comprehending this. This movie is insane. And I think one of the things I have to really admire about this film is the fact that Francis Ford Coppola himself funded this movie. It cost about $120 million, and he took that money and made this. And I won't lie, I absolutely respect that decision. I think that's incredible. I think as an artist, you should in many ways, if you're passionate about the craft, be pursuing it. I think that's why also too I quite like M. Night Shyamalan. Like, even though his more recent films are like, some range from being quite good to being incredibly baffling, I respect the fact that he self-funds his films because, I mean, studios won't fund him because he's so risky. But even still, I admire the fact that he's like, no, I'm a filmmaker. This is like in my blood. I have to keep doing this. So I'm going to remortgage my house and make this movie. That's like the whole energy Megalopolis gives, where Francis Ford Coppola's like, I have this absolutely bizarre, abstract, misunderstood, maybe potentially forward-thinking idea. I have to tell it, but no one's going to back this, so I'm just going to, like, self-fund it myself. Maybe it says a lot about the risk-averse nature of current-day Hollywood, but at the same time, too, just the fact that he put all this money in for a little passion project, I think that's incredibly admirable. Even though the film itself is, like, boring, but it's not because it's bizarrely compelling, because it's so abstract. And even though the film is really messy and clunky and there's some weird acting choices, but then again, too, the cast is so star-studded that they all want to work with Coppola, and they're all, like, doing good performances, even though what they're saying, the dialogue does not make any sense, even though the overall character intentions with the acting does not make any sense. The actors are giving it their all. Like, you can just tell Adam Driver's just like, I'm doing this because I want to work with Coppola, but also too, this is so bizarre and abstract that it would just be fun as an actor to play this role. And even though the film is bizarre and weird and the story is not super compelling, because at the end of the day I'm like, what was the film even like really about? I really respect this movie in a weird way. Like, it makes no damn sense. Compels me, though. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I've got for you with this review, because at the end of the day, this movie is bizarre and weird, and, like, I feel like this would be a film that would be so interesting to have Francis Ford Coppola, like, talk to you about, like, maybe through a director's commentary, or, like, him just sitting down and giving, like, an entire university lecture or seminar on this entire film. I think that would be fascinating, but at the same time too, is it worth it for this film? I don't know. I feel like Francis Ford Coppola's thought process would be more interesting than watching the film itself, because again, it's bizarre, but it feels like an old man rambling, but at the same time too, like, there is like a vision and an idea here, but then also at the same time too, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, my brain hurts. That was my review for Megalopolis. Have you guys seen the film? What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was absolutely bizarre and baffling? Let me know in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media, all that good stuff. Until we meet again, I'll see you guys next time.